Hello, and thank you for taking the time to watch this training video. This is the Special Needs Prom for 2023, the training video for all volunteers that are not on the buddy team. So first off, I want to thank you so much for even wanting to be involved in this event. We could not do an amazing, huge event like this without all your help. So I am so very grateful that you even considered us. Um, and Before I go any further, I want to encourage you. After the event, I will be reaching out to all of you via email to hear your stories. I would love to hear your personal stories of how the event affected you. Was there anything special that you experienced at the event? Did you, I don't know, were you impacted in a deep and meaningful way by God through the event? Whatever it is, I want to hear it. So look for my emails after the event because I will be reaching out to you. And I'm so excited already just to anticipate what's going to come of this event. All right, so as you can see on the first screen, the title of our event is A Fairy Tale Night Prom. Okay. Now let me go to the next one. So the agenda that I'm going to go through is first I'm going to play a highlight video of last year's prom. And I'm doing that because I'd like to get you guys hyped up, excited about the upcoming event that's just, it's less than a week away. And if you haven't been to our proms before, if you've never volunteered for it, then you're really in for like a huge treat. It's a beautiful event. Not just the guests enjoy this event, but our volunteers enjoy this event enormously. So I'm going to play a video and hopefully it will allow you to really capture how special our prom can be. After that, I'll talk a little bit of inspiration on why we go through such great lengths to do something like this. Why do I stress myself out so much? Why do so many of our ministry family, including our staff, do this? What drives us? What is our passion behind it? And then after that, I will address what's different this year's prom as opposed to last year's prom or proms before that. And then I'm going to play a video for you that I edited myself, so please bear with me, of the activity and station locations for our event on March 24th. So if you're not familiar with our campus, I went through all the different areas and captured it all on video for you guys to see. So hopefully you'll feel more prepared on the day of our prom. Then after that, I'll talk more specifically about volunteer check-in, meaning you guys. So when you guys come on campus, the day of our event, I'm going to address to you where you should park, where you should not park, who you should report to, and what you need to make sure that you have and that you do when you're there. After that, I'll go over some important things that I feel you should be aware of leading up to the event and some important reminders to keep in mind. And then after that, we'll be done. So here we go. First, I'm going to play you the video. All right. I do hope you guys enjoyed that. I love seeing the smiling faces on our guests, as well as the volunteers. I love that about this specific event, that it gives back to our volunteers more than they even realize. So I anticipate that for you guys if this is your first time. Okay, so now I'd like to talk to you a little bit about some inspiration, like what drives us to do this event. And I don't have that on here. Okay, so why do we go through such great lengths to do a prom like this? Well, first and foremost is because the God we serve commands us to love others the way that he's loved us by dying on a cross for our sins. And we do that by demonstrating that love to our special needs community, to people like the least of these. And scripture talks about the least of these, and our special needs community falls under that category. So we demonstrate love to them by putting them on a pedestal, by making them feel special, valued, and loved, and going all out and pampering them, making them feel like royalty on the night of our prom. See, unfortunately, our culture doesn't really hold special needs individuals in high regard. They're kind of pushed to the side. It's a really hard reality to face, but it's the truth. And but not the day of our prom. On the day of our prom, we go all out. We make them feel like they are the center of attention. Like I said before, we do treat them like royalty. They get to go on limo rides. They get to be pampered. They are literally pampering stations that they get to experience. And then at the end of the night, there's a special ceremony called the crowning ceremony, where we all crown every single guest, both male and female, kings and queens for the evening, and we give them their crown. So it's really a beautiful event. And the whole reason we do it is because we love the Lord. We love Jesus Christ. We are committed to demonstrating love to others the way that he has to us. So this is a really unique opportunity for you to experience God in a big and meaningful way. So I would encourage you that as you draw closer to this event, I encourage you to reach out to the Lord, to pray to him and ask him to reveal himself to you in big ways, because he does every single year. When I reach out to the volunteers every year, I hear such amazing, beautiful stories. It's just astonishing and really amazing to see how many unique stories come out of this event. And a lot of the people that come to this event don't even attend our church. Some of them aren't really, how should I say this? Their walk with the Lord isn't very close. They're not, some of them aren't even Christians. Some of them don't attend a church at all, but yet they continue to want to serve in this capacity during our prom. And something draws them. And I believe that's God. I believe it's all God that draws them to those warm feelings that you get, that beautiful sensation that you feel inside when you're serving someone. So I encourage you guys to look for the Lord, to pray to him. And I sincerely believe that if you seek him out with, like if you really mean it, with all sincerity, then he will reveal himself to you in a big and meaningful way. Okay. So now I want to talk to you specifically about what is different this year for prom. So there are a few things that are different this year, and the most obvious thing that's different this year is the theme. It's called a fairy tale night. So the theme for our prom this year is a fairy tale theme. And the majority of that theme will be Disney fairy tales. Not all of it, but the majority of it. And as long as I am the pastor over this ministry, I will every year change the theme, but still have the pampering aspect of the prom included in the prom. So keeping the pampering stations in mind, we are adding 2 new pampering stations this year. The first one we're going to add is that we're going to have an individual, a gentleman who's going to dress up as King Arthur, and he will have a sword. It's a fake sword, don't worry, but he will be knighting the guests. Every guest that comes up to his station, he's going to knight them. And the second station we will have is we'll have the fairy godmother from Cinderella at a station of her own, and she will have her wand and she'll do that whole bippity boppity boo thing to every guest that comes up. So I'm super excited about those. I can't wait to see the reaction on the guests' faces. In addition to that, we're also going to have multiple characters, a lot of individuals dressed up as Disney characters and just walking around, mingling with the guests throughout the entire campus. And I cannot wait to see that. They're all very excited. I am incredibly excited. I would love to capture them on video and in photographs, because I know it's going to be awesome. So we have all those new things to look forward to. In addition, we have some schedule changes. Last year, we had all the different stations and activities run until the very end, until it was time for pickup, because we had the crowning ceremony toward the beginning of the event. And it was good, but it brought up some complications for the whole checkout team, because we have a checkout team, and our security team, to ensure the safety of everyone being picked up by who they're supposed to be picked up. It made it kind of chaotic. So I moved the ceremony to the end this year. It will be the very last thing. So everything will run until 8 p.m. and then all the stations will close, and then everybody will go in to the worship center, the biggest building on campus, for the ceremony. And the ceremony will go from 8 to 9 p.m. And then after the ceremony, everybody will come out of the worship center into the lobby of the worship center for the whole checkout process to begin. Okay, next I want to cover the prom schedule. So before I go over the flow of the day for March 24th, I want to address March 23rd, the day before our prom. That's a Thursday. So March 23rd is when we do the majority of our decorating for the event, the majority of our setup for the event. Many of us will be here as early as 8 a.m. and we're going to be here until about 8 p.m. setting up, decorating, doing as much as we can to alleviate what we need to do on the day of prom. So if you're able to come and help us, we would really appreciate it. The biggest teams that will be there on March 23rd will be the decorating team and the setup team. So you would be helping all of them do whatever needs to get done, and you will not be in the way. If you go on campus, you would look for us. That will be easy to find, and I'm sure someone will be able to direct you, the leaders over the decorating and setup teams. We'll provide coffee and donuts in the morning, and then later on in the afternoon, we will provide lunch for everyone. So if you can make it, great. We really appreciate it. But if you can't, I totally understand. I know people have their own personal schedules to maintain. Then on March 24th, many of us will be here as early as 8 a.m. and we will be here till hopefully 2 p.m. finishing all the decorating and whatnot that needs to get done before the event starts at 4 p.m. So I have here in orange volunteer check-in. Arrival time for you guys are the volunteers. Arrival time and check-in for you guys is dependent on when your captain, the leader of your team, tells you to show up. So I urge you guys to contact your captain and find out when it is that they need you to be here, because it's not all the same. So if your captain hasn't reached out to you, you can email me at andy@crossroadschurch.com and I will connect you with them. But check your emails. I urge you to please check your emails if you're not one to do it. It is the most efficient way to get communications out to large numbers of people. I've tried it before, text messages and GroupMe. They're effective, but a lot of people don't use that stuff. So we've continued to use email. So once you find out when to arrive, you want to park in the upper parking lot of our campus. and make sure that when you park and you come down and you meet your captain, that they give you a wristband. You cannot function, I should say another word, you cannot really move around freely on the campus during this event without a wristband. Security will stop you. Okay, then the event will start at 4 p.m. And from 4 to 6 p.m., I want to point out that we will have pampering and formal photo stations open in the packing house. So the pampering stations will be inside the packing house. When parents come to check in the guests, they're going to park in the main parking lot, and then they're going to walk in up the stairs to the packing house for check-in, and then enter in there, and parents will, many of them do join the guests because they want to see their loved one having a good time. The buddy will be paired with the guest, and then they'll go through all the pampering stations. And then after they're through the pampering stations, they go out some side doors of the packing house, and they continue up the walkway to get formal photos taken of themselves. And that's all going to be happening from 4 to 6 p.m. At 6 p.m., we're going to close that whole area. There will be volunteers that will begin to break everything down and clean it up to make it easier for ourselves later that evening. And then from 4 to 8 p.m., the majority of the event will be, actually all of the event will be in front of the worship center, both in the patio and in the lobby and in the main sanctuary. So from 4 to 8 p.m., we're going to have multiple fun photo booths out in the patio of the worship center. We're going to have multiple karaoke stations out there. We'll also have a live DJ in the lobby playing music. And then at 5 p.m., the buffet dinner will start, and so will the limo rides. So those are going to end before 8 p.m. Now, the limo rides, if you're not sure where they are, the limo rides will be located in the upper parking lot. So limo rides will be separate from where you're supposed to park as a volunteer, and I'll explain more about that in a little bit. Once 8 o'clock rolls around, or leading up to 8, just a few minutes before, the DJ will announce that it will be time soon to enter into the worship center for the ceremony. So then things will start to shut down, and then people will start walking into the worship center for the ceremony. And the ceremony is going to be awesome. I have a couple new things there as well. So once the ceremony is over, that's when the whole pickup, checkout process will begin. We have a checkout team and the security team that will be ready for that. But since everybody will be coming out of the worship center into the lobby where we'll all be coming out of one place, it will be easier for the checkout and the security team to make sure that it all runs smoothly. So once everyone has been picked up, you are free to go home. Or if you're not too tired, we could use your help to continue putting things away, because we want to do as much as we can of the cleanup before Sunday's service. So just keep that in mind. Okay, now I want to go into a little bit more detail about volunteer check-in, which is what you guys should do when you arrive on campus on the day of our prom. So I said before, please park in the upper parking lot. Please do not park in the lower parking lot, the one in front of the worship center and the packing house, the main one that most people see that's on the corner of Ontario and Kellogg. Please do not park there. We want to leave room for our parents and our guardians that drop off the guests, as well as customers who go to Canvas for coffee, because Canvas Coffee will still be open during that time, which is why we're going to be so strict with the wristbands to know who's supposed to be at our event. So when you go to the upper parking lot, if you're not familiar with it, the upper parking lot is split into two sections. One section is closer to the street, closer to Kellogg. The other section is further from the street. I'm asking you guys to please park in the section furthest from the street. Why? Because the section closest to the street is where the limos will be picking up the guests. That's where the limo ride will begin. And if you park there, you're going to get in the way of the limos, and we're going to come and have to find you and ask you to move your car. So to avoid all that, I'm asking you guys to please park in the parking furthest from the street, or there's also parking behind the worship center where there are solar panel coverings. You can also park there. It's perfectly okay to park there as well. Once you park, come down to meet your team, your captain, and make sure that that captain gives you a wristband. It's a yellow wristband. So once he gives you the wristband, then you're good to go. If you happen to break that wristband or you lose it, falls or whatever, just contact someone, for example, from the security team, tell your captain, they'll know who to contact, and we can get you another wristband. Now I'd like to show you a video of the different activity and station locations. The worship center is where you will find the karaoke stations, fun photo booths, the live DJ, and buffet dinner. The packing house is where you will find check-in for all guests, the pampering stations, formal photos, and buddy team check-in. Parking for all of our guests will be located in the lower main parking lot that is stationed in front of both the worship center and the packing house. As you're driving down Ontario Avenue, you're going to see the church on your left. At the light, turn left onto Kellogg. Then you're going to pass the church on your left-hand side and go all the way up to the upper parking lot and turn left into the driveway. Now be sure to stay on your right-hand side all the way until you reach the parking furthest from the street. Once you've parked, look for the row of very large boulders and head towards the walkway. The walkway will lead you down a flight of steps. As you're going down those flight of steps, you're going to turn left when you see two double doors. Be sure and ask for a buddy captain as you enter the packing house. Coming from the worship center, make your way up the steps and be sure to keep left. Volunteer Central will be on your right-hand side. Coming from the main parking lot, make your way up the walkway and turn left and go up the steps, and then make a quick left and you will see the parent lounge directly in front of you. Both the nursing and respite stations will be located at the far end of the worship center lobby. As you enter, make your way toward the signs that says Crossroads Kids 0 to 2 years old. The crowning ceremony will be located in the worship center. As you enter, go right or left and make your way through 3 double doors. It will be the pinnacle of the evening's festivities. It is when all of our guests will have an opportunity to be crowned kings and queens of our prom.
Meet Tim.
Sorry about that. Okay, so I hope you guys benefited from that video. If you haven't been on our campus before, just keep in mind that all those videos came from the lower parking lot. So if you have any questions, you can go ahead and email me if you're still not sure where to go. So next, I want to talk to you about what to do if you need help. Say you need assistance, say you've run into an emergency. What are your options? So you have 3 options, okay? Technically you have 4, but I'm gonna give you the 3 main ones. So the first option is that if you run into emergency and you need help, look for individuals with a black shirt that says Crossroads Safety Team. We have an entire security team that will be ready to assist wherever needed. And they always have radios with a little earpiece on. So look for someone from the security team that has a black shirt. In addition, if you can't find someone from the security team, look for any other person with the radio. I will most likely have a radio on. Other leaders from the ministry who will be working that night to ensure the safety of our event will have radios on. But if you still can't find those kinds of people, look for a floater. So one team for our event is specifically advised to go wherever they are needed. It doesn't matter where, wherever they are needed, and that's the floater team. So the floater team is supposed to wear teal t-shirts that night, and the back of their shirt, it says floater, and they're there to help. So if you see a floater, if you spot them, tell them to come and help you, and they can assist you, or if you need further assistance, they can go and get help for you. In addition to these, there's also a nursing team. So the nursing team will be wearing red, but I would reach out to these people first because you will most likely run into security or a floater before you ever run into a nurse. Okay, now I want to talk about some important things you should be aware of, some reminders as well. So I've said this before, please arrive at the time indicated by your captain and park in the upper parking lot furthest from the street. Please do not park in the one closest to the street. And if you show up late, or if you can't make it at the time they're asking you, just let them know and give them the reason why, and things will be okay. Like, it's okay if you can't show up at the time indicated. Just let them know ahead of time. They and I would appreciate it. In addition to that, here's something that you may not have expected for me to say. If you're not on the buddy team, I'm still going to share this with you guys. Do not share your personal information with our guests. Should you encounter someone with a special need and you start having a conversation with them and they ask you, hey, can I have your number? Or hey, what's your Facebook? Don't share that with them. Many of our special needs guests have challenges understanding boundaries. So if you share your phone number with them, they might end up calling you a lot. They might end up texting you a lot. And you might get annoyed at that. Anybody would, any normal person would. And if you tell them to stop, they'll say, yeah, sure, or okay, and they might continue to do it. I've had many people in the past contact me, not sure what to do because these people that they've shared their information with continue to message them and call them. So save yourself a lot of heartache, save yourself a lot of headache, and don't share your information with them. Figure out a way to be like, oh, you know what? I'm sorry, I can't share that with you right now, maybe later. In addition to that, I want to talk about Volunteer Central. So in the video that you saw of the activity and station locations, I showed you a way to Volunteer Central, which is our building's fellowship, or our campus's fellowship hall. That is where you can go as a volunteer to get food, to get replenished. If you get hungry, if you are thirsty, we're going to have all the food designated for you guys there. You do not have to go and buy your own food. You can if you want to, but I would encourage you to stay on campus if you're serving there and go get food there. Figure out a way with your team to take a break and go get food, because we've worked pretty hard to get food for the entire volunteer team for our event. So just remember that. You don't have to go the entire time. You don't have to bring your lunch. We're going to have food for you. Also, we're going to have a buffet dinner for our guests and the buddies. That buffet dinner that will be in front of the worship center patio is not for any other volunteers. The buddies and the guests are the ones that are supposed to be served the buffet dinner. All the other food that's found in Volunteer Central, otherwise known as the Fellowship Hall, that is where all of you can get your food. Okay, another thing I want to point out is, say this should happen, I hope it never does. If you happen to see a special needs individual by themselves that's supposed to be part of our event, please go over there and help them. Please go at least sit by them and then call for help. We've advised our buddies never to leave any of our guests alone. So if they're alone, then something must have happened. So I ask you to please at least sit by them and maybe find out what's going on, and then call security or call a floater, and we'll take it from there. So just keep that in mind, but I pray that never happens. Another reminder I want to go over is the shirt colors of the teams. Remember that floaters have teal t-shirts. The nurses will be wearing red, most likely those scrubs. And then the security team will be wearing black shirts that say Crossroads Safety Team on them in the front. Okay, we don't need to go through this pop quiz. So here is my information should you need to reach out to me. Andy@crossroadschurch.com. I will try and answer as many questions as I can, but I need to warn you, I get so many emails and so many phone calls during this time, during prom season is what I call it. So I might not be able to get to it in time, or it might take a while. So I apologize in advance, but I will do my best to answer every single question that I can. All right, everyone, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. And I look forward to seeing you and hopefully meeting as many of you as I can on March 24th.